I mean, we know that Jesus was without sin because the scripture gives testimony to that. But just because he was without sin doesn't mean that he wasn't capable of sin, just because he wasn't born of the first man, Adam. That's why Paul calls him the second man, the last Adam, in 1 Corinthians 15, verses 45 through 47, where he calls Jesus the second man, the last Adam. I mean, we need to understand the truth. I mean, because if Jesus wasn't capable of sin, then his sacrifice was nothing. But it was because he partook of flesh and blood and he was capable of sin, just as the first man, Adam, was capable of sin before he ate of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. I mean, we need to understand the truth. I mean, people let Satan get in their head and deceive them of the truth. You know, and unless you believe the truth that is in Jesus Christ, I mean, there is no salvation unless you hear the faith and believe that word. There's no faith for salvation. I mean, this is what John and Peter were talking about in Acts chapter 8, when after Philip had cast out unclean spirits out of many of those in Samaria, and it says when they heard that they had received the word, they came down to lay hands on them to receive the Spirit. For at that point, no one had received the Spirit in Samaria. They only had the unclean spirits cast out of many and water baptized into Jesus Christ, just as Jesus commanded his disciples in Mark 16:15, go into the world, all the world, and proclaim this gospel to every creature, and everyone who believes and is baptized shall be saved. He who believes not shall be damned. I mean, it's very cut and clear. Even Peter says in 1 Peter chapter 3, verse 20 and 21, just as Noah and 8 souls were saved by water, how water baptism does now save us. Not the washing away of the filth of the flesh, but the answer of a clear conscience, because that is where we die with Jesus, and that is where it is sanctified, because it dies. And as Paul describes it, as the circumcision made without hands and putting off the body of sins, and we're raised together with Jesus through faith in the operation of God, wherein we believe God raised Jesus from